Catch my black and gay bitch. Catch my black and gay bitch.
Hey guys, you're tuned in to Catch My Black and Gay podcast, where being black and gay is definitely okay. I am Jay, and if somebody don't mute they fucking line,
Bitch, I have the personal on this. I don't know why this shit is coming through.
I am your boy Jay, and I have my amazing co-host with me, Chef Vaughn
Wagwan.
Torrian.
What's up?
All right, so this is the part of the podcast that I used to hate when we had it before. I hate when we have to discuss the fuck shit that happens in America, but I feel like we have an obligation to discuss it. We won't wrong down. But the Nolan Wells story, I have been following, or we have been following, and if you don't know the story, you must be living under a rock. It's assumed, um, social media, and it's headline news. And so, if you don't know, Nolan Wells was an 18-year-old black teen, um, who was who lives in Mississippi, and him and his three friends went to a place called Horn Island for the 4th of July, and to celebrate that holiday. His friends returned back to shore. He did not. And a few days later, his body was floating. Or what?
Why did you say it like that?
I'm sorry.
What the fuck?
His body washed upon shore.
Upon shore.
Oh my gosh.
His body washed ashore.
Body washed ashore. All right. I'm sorry. I'm over this already, but
And we're not laughing at the story.
I was about to say, this is not a laughing matter.
Not laughing at the story at all.
But
But
sometimes you have to laugh to keep from crying.
I was just about to say that. Absolutely. Sometimes you do.
And so, yeah, his friends came back. He did not. They found his body a few days later. And when I saw the picture,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Are we not going to name? We're not going to name the elephant in the room.
Yeah, go ahead. I was gonna let you do the honors.
We know that's your favorite part.
I mean, we're talking about a young black boy who's going out to shore with 3 white boys, and the white boy is coming back, and the black boy not coming back. That is a very important piece of this conversation.
Very.
The biggest piece. Most important piece.
Historically and currently.
Yeah. I don't know what to say about this. I have some strong feelings that people won't like. And that I might get canceled for.
Well, maybe I won't be the only one, so that's great.
Yeah. Let's start off with you. What are you?
No.
You don't want to start off with? You want me to choose the violence first? You want me to throw the first lick?
Yeah, because I usually do.
Okay. I'm going to say this as calmly as I can possibly say it. And this is to black parents. Stop letting your child be the only black kid. And I'm not faulting the parents. I'm not faulting them. But stop it. Especially in motherfucking Mississippi. I believe Mississippi is the originator of the sundown law. Okay. And if you don't know what the sundown law is, the sundown law was that black people had to be in the house before the sun went down, right? Or white people had the law on their side, they can hang them.
Does that sound familiar to black folks who had to be in the house by the lights coming on?
Thank you. Things that were passed down and taught, everything has history and a root. And when I learned that, I was like, oh my God.
Be inside
And
by the
black
street
parents to this
lights.
day still abide by that. Be home before the street lights come on. Shit like that has meaning. Go ahead, Torrian.
No, please continue. No.
So black parents, and I'm gonna just be honest. When I see one black person in amongst a whole bunch of white people, I'm uncomfortable. Apparently, good.
I'm curious. Mm-hmm. I am uncomfortably curious.
Okay.
I'm struggling because, like you, my first instinct is to be like, now come on. Like, come on. History has given us countless examples of what happens or what can happen when the scenario is what it was and what it is, right? I also struggle with I know that because of our history as black people, right? We want to do our best to ensure that our children have better than what we had. And for many people, that looks like moving out to the suburbs or moving out into predominantly or moving out into communities where, as black folks, you are the minority in that community. On one hand, I understand that. I also think that, like, at the same time, how are we ensuring that, like, you're still somehow staying connected to folks within community that prevents opportunities for this to happen? Because, like, where's your cousins? You ain't got no cousins. You ain't got. I mean,
where's your buddy? Where's your son, buddy?
Yeah.
Aside from black folks shouldn't be celebrating 4th of July anyway. Okay?
That's true.
That's a whole different conversation. It's a different conversation.
Okay. But that aside, it's like it breaks my heart. You know, it really does. This story breaks my heart for many of the same reasons that it breaks everybody else's heart.
But I will say this, because I read a statement that one of the white kids,
the judge,
is the
judge's son, the judge's son,
Ashley Cole.
Yeah, and I will say, just so people don't get the wrong impression that these people moved to get a, whatever. They grew up together. I guess, they have been in their families grew up in the same town. The mother and Nolan's mom graduated high school together or went to the same high school.
Allegedly.
That's what the white lady said. But
per her statement.
Per her statement. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And so even if you grew up in, I don't know,
that don't mean that damn thing the same. That's like telling me that you raise black children, therefore you can't be racist. That tells me nothing.
Yeah. But is there a space, and I'm being devil's advocate here, or is there a scenario where this isn't race related and it was just something that happened and social media grabbed a hold of it and has made it into something that it might not be?
And I think if that's the case, the kids would have to be speaking. And okay, first of all, I agree with everything you're saying about black parents, but I would also like to speak to black children, because this was an 18-year-old young adult, you shouldn't want to be the only one in that space. You should not be comfortable being the only one in that space. You should want to have others with you. Because I'm uncomfortable in spaces where I'm the only person of color.
That's because you grew up around black people. Sometimes when you like, if he lived there all his life and has been surrounded by white people, that's no. And I'm not saying you're wrong or anything. It's just my thought.
No.
You don't know any better. And I have had friends who grew up in, predominantly white neighborhoods that when they went to college, they went to a HBCU on purpose, or they felt like they were lost because they didn't know their own identity, right?
So for me, I grew up in predominantly black
right
space. When I went to college, it was a predominantly white space. When I say don't be the only one, like sometimes if there is one other, just because we gonna be cool. You know what I mean? If there is, sometimes there's not. You know what I mean? Sometimes you don't have it, and in that situation, yeah. But sometimes, and I used to be a person that was like, I don't want to be cool with the only black person because, but you should.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because of things like this, like. But I don't think I even saw any other. I don't. I didn't watch much of the filming of like the whole people on the island. I didn't really see much other black people there. Period. So my point is not even valid. You know what I mean? But I don't want to single out the parents per se. Like I want us as individuals to know that you should want to have more representation in the spaces that you're in.
Yeah, but if I'm not teaching my child that representation matters, how do they know that?
I think it's an and both, right? I don't think it's an either or, right? I think you can hold space for parents as parents to foster and nurture an environment where black children who are in a predominantly white community seeks community like their own in different avenues, right? Whether that is sports, whether that is, get-togethers, inviting people over, whatever it is, right? I mean, it's important to do that, right? No less important. Again, as my reference earlier, right? When you are a white family and you adopt a black child, it is incumbent upon you to ensure that as you're raising that black child, they are connected to their community and connected to folks who look like them, love like them, see the world the way in which they see the world, and have to navigate the world, right? It's important that you do that. You have to take that initiative. And also, I want to be mindful. Like, it's not that there has to be, but I do think that for the sake of self-discovery, right, that we as individuals also have to take some kind of responsibility in how we also are fostering community with the folks that look like us, exist in a world like us, and have to navigate the world the way in which we do. I also want to be extremely mindful because I understand how this conversation currently can give the perception that we are somehow blaming or holding accountable Nolan or his mom in what happened. I am not suggesting that. I'm not saying that. I also think that context is always important in these kinds of conversation. And so for me, it's like it is a very thin, delicate balance and thin line around this conversation around, at the end of the day, is there, back to your question, Jay, is there a world in which this could have been a tragic accident that is absent race? Sure. Yes. I think it is also because we as Black folks understand how America has seen us. Even the most liberal of Americans have seen and navigated Black people. It is very difficult for Black people to see a world where that actually is reality. Right? Especially when you think about some of the clips that came out, how there was a group of young folks yelling and screaming. Now, we don't know if it's the group that Nolan was a part of, right? Like they were arguing in the background in some of the videos, right? We don't know if that's them, right? There's so many questions. And we don't want to speculate.
No.
However, again, it's difficult as Black folks to not paint the picture because this picture has been painted many times over in the past.
Yeah.
Right? I just saw a video earlier today where literally a Black boy who was in the water yelling at his friends who were all white.
I saw that. Yes.
Who were on the bank yelling at him about how he's too grown not to know how to swim, and how all of this shit about, you know, how even like some monkey references, like some other racist tropes and shit like that being yelled at to this boy. And there's a family who is like kayaking on the water and is watching this and recording this. And the Black boy is in the water and they're like, "Oh, you have a life jacket on." And he yells out, the life jacket is a children's life jacket. And so like, as much as we, and so he had to literally swim as best as he can and get to the end of the kayak and be dragged into shore by this family who just so happens to be at the right place at the right time. And so it's like these situations are like, Black people do not just create a world where we do not believe or we automatically assume that one black person in a group of non-Black people going somewhere and the Black person don't come back. We don't see a world immediately where that's not racially charged or somehow race is a part of that. Because we have too many examples in the 250 years of America where that has always played a part in it. Always has played a part in it. And I say this before on a podcast, I believe, and I will say it again. Yes, there are great white people in America. Hell, I know some of them. What I am also just as sure about is those white people, all white people, when they are in a position where it is them having to navigate the world against or for their own aggrandizement, for their own advancement or their own security and safety, they will choose them every single time over a Black person.
Yeah. Agreed.
That's just, it is what it is. They will lean into their whiteness for their own sake.
Yeah.
Despite whatever the circumstances are.
Yeah.
And we have to come, like, we have to come to terms with that.
Yeah.
For me, the reason I don't have much to say in a lot of these conversations when we talk about a lot of this race stuff, a lot of times, growing up Caribbean, we weren't really like taught about that stuff at home. Like, we didn't talk about race at home. Like, it wasn't until being in school I would learn about different things happening in different parts of the world because we were Black, you know. And even when like you go like to Jamaica, it's like everyone's Black. Like there is no race, you know. It's no like that's not a thing. Is a colorism is a thing, but like the whole like Black hate like that's not a thing in the Caribbean. So like when
But do you
you're
think that comes from you having an absent father?
no,
Because when I think about it,
I think it's more so of like when I grew up. I grew up with a mom that is old school. My mom is very like she's an old school parent, so she grew me up how she grew up. They don't really talk about race. Like race was never a thing. Like everyone was black.
yeah,
And that's in Jamaica.
And this is in Jamaica. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
now moving here and growing up here, I didn't experience I experienced it growing up here, but I didn't experience it like it wasn't a conversation at home.
Mm.
You get what I'm saying? Like it was never like,
Yeah.
oh, white people. Da, da, da. If anything, it was actually the opposite because Jamaica is like a number one tourist destination. So the white people were like the tourists. So they were happy. So it was like we 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 shit. I'm not saying we were grown up to think that white people were like great, but it was like, oh, these are white. You know, they're you know they're happy. They got money. Like whatever. Like it was. It just it's just every time we have these race conversations, I always just think about that. Like I weren't taught that at home.
Yeah.
We never talked about this happening or oh I came in by the street lights because my friends was in by the street lights. You know?
Yeah.
Like my mom just always was just my mom came home at 11 o'clock when I was growing up. So I had to make sure I was in the house by the time my mom came home because I'll get my butt whipped if I wasn't. But like race and these things were not a thing in my home. So that's why I kind of sometimes I may come off sound a little ignorant when we have these conversations because I don't really, you know.
Yeah. I think it's a different perspective. And a part of me want to acknowledge that sort of as a privilege because I think in a way to not have to think about race relations in the way that a Black American has to think about it, that there is a level of privilege in that.
And I would agree.
I also think that there's a level of there's a disadvantage to that as well
because the level of ignorance because you don't know, and now you're in spaces and you're thinking that this person is cool with you or you learn that that's not true. Like I had to learn that as an adult. Like that was something else I wanted to touch on in this episode. Like I didn't know that race was a thing until like I became an adult and got into spaces with other white people that were quote unquote on my level. And that's when I started to see like, oh shit, if I was white, I probably would have got this job. I see my white counterparts get so much further in their career than me. So much faster.
Yeah, I think that's in every career space, right?
Yeah.
But I agree with Torrian. Like, I think that is a privilege, and the reason why I brought up your absent father is because, I look at men differently. Like, I think most men or fathers have the talk with their son, right? Some moms do because there's a lot of single moms out here.
Yeah,
too.
my mom did. I didn't get it from my dad.
Yeah, but so, to me, just my opinion, I think it lands better when it comes from the dad too, because 9 times out of 10, your dad experienced racism in some type of capacity, and you know, my dad was the one that had to talk with me, and my dad was a Black police officer.
I was about to say, I think that's why you got it from your dad, was because your dad also saw, because of his work, saw what happens when those dynamics can turn dangerous, right? And also, hey, when you get pulled over by a police officer, this is what you need to do to make sure you come home, right? Because he had the information. So I think that but my mother taught us that very early on about, you know, those types of things. I'm reminded too of Dominique Morgan. I love her. But she talked about this from her own personal perspective. because she's from Nebraska. And she talked about how for many years she existed in an anti-Black way of living, where that for her, it was important to be in close proximity to whiteness because it provided her specific access that she wanted. It wasn't until later in life, I believe she said her 30s or so, where she started, her vision and her perspective around what that looked like changed and shifted for her. And I think in some ways that may be many folks who grew up in rural, predominantly white spaces where it gives you no other, it's like you have no other choice but to somehow find survival in those predominantly white spaces.
Yeah.
And how do you do that? The only way you can do that is to assimilate, is to somehow find community within, even if that means disregarding, denouncing, being anti-Black or whatever, that thing is against Black community.
Yeah.
And so I think it's also important to bring that to the space, which I think kind of speaks to what Chef was talking about earlier around like the individual, the person, the youth, the young person being mindful around how they are navigating these spaces too. Because, at the end of the day, we all just want to survive. We all want to be able to get home safely and, live life and have a good time, right? We also, in that same breath, have to be mindful of situations that we could potentially find ourselves in.
Yep.
All the time. And that's whether you're in all Black spaces, Black and white spaces, mixed spaces, right? You always just have to be mindful of your surroundings and who you're going with, where y'all going.
Right.
Yeah.
And so this resonates with me a little bit more because my dad's side of the family is from Mississippi, Meridian, Mississippi. And I spent a few weeks there as a child. And I said, I will never come back here again. One, there are no fucking sidewalks. Like, bitch, my grandmother used to be like, you guys are city kids. Because these motherfuckers walking outside with no shoes on, they walking down the road with no shoes on. They waving at it was. Like,
are the roads paved?
They're paved, but there's just no sidewalks.
Okay.
So at least the part of Mississippi I was in. And it just looked very like I think there was maybe we'll call it a privilege, like being a city kid, an inner city kid, because I was exposed to way more. And I didn't know that life of that. Like, I don't know. Like, bitch. I feel like even the people in the projects had better shit than the people in, Mississippi. But I'll never forget. The reason why Mississippi resonates with me too is because when I was a kid, I had Power Ranger shoes. Yes. And I was standing in the grass and I started to sink.
Was it marsh?
No, it was quicksand or whatever that is.
Not quicksand.
And it was like mud or and it was pulling me down.
Yeah.
And my mom was like, Jason, and she like grabbed me, and my Power Ranger shoes were done.
Go Power Rangers.
And so, a fun fact though, I don't think I've ever shared this with you all. With me talking to my parents more about like their history and stuff, I found out why my dad and family moved to New Jersey from Mississippi. Child, this is a story. I don't think I said this on the podcast because we've been going for 3 years, and I feel like I just found this information out like a year or two ago, but I don't know. And that's so crazy because I keep trying to remember what we have said in previous seasons, just so I'm not like repeating myself, but whatever. Here's the story. my grandfather, Papa was a Rolling Stone.
No.
Most men down in the South with money, yes, they usually are. And my granddad had an affair with a white woman, and when the husband found out, she cried rape.
Of course. Oh,
And so my grandfather spent a few years in prison. And when he was released, they said they were going to hang him or whatever. I don't know. Hang might be harsh, but they were going to kill him, basically. And so my dad and his family had to flee in the middle of the night. So when my grandfather got out, they had to flee so that he wasn't killed or murdered. And so I call my dad a racist all the time. I do, because he hates white people. Like, literally, he hates white people. But I understand he gets triggered. So, and he grew up in Mississippi. You know what I'm saying? So, as he was growing up, go ahead. What you got to say, Torrian? Don't start the shit.
No, I just have a really, 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 really hard time with folks saying that, like, black people, anybody black, hates white people. And I have a hard time with that because history has given us reason to be extremely questionable, not questionable, but extremely cautious and mindful around white people.
Yeah.
Too many stories, too many experiences, too much history. And so when you have black folk who navigate the world through a specific lens that is highly sensitive and mindful of that history, to me, I have a tough time with describing that as hate. Right? It's one thing to have a perception of a people solely based on the color of their skin.
Yeah.
That's one thing. That's hate.
That's hate.
Right? That's racism. Right? That's prejudice. Right? That is one thing. But when your navigation of a particular population, people as a whole, is predicated or is rooted in countless accounts of how this one community, race of people treated others, particularly yours, I have a tough time with describing that as hate or dislike or like I do. I struggle with that. What would you call it?
Since we reinventing words and shit, what would you call it?
What would you call?
I think to think of it how Torrian is think of it, you got to think of it like, how do you word it?
Yeah, I don't know.
What would you call? I mean, I wouldn't call it. I would call it being responsive to what the hell happened.
Right.
Like,
it's like a rape victim having issues with their rapist, and it's like, I wouldn't say that you hate them. This person did something to you that have you reacting in this way. If I'm explaining it the right way.
For me, I think it's literally, it's called adaptation. It's black people taking history and utilizing history as a tool to survive in a world that has conditioned us to be in this position where we have to navigate the world this way. Because again, there is countless, like, we're not pulling shit out of the air around how to navigate white people, right? We're not deciding that we just want to not like white people, or we want to be cautious of how we navigate white people. We're not pulling that shit out of the air. Mm-hmm. There's historical evidence, lots of it, that has informed how we navigate. Our parents and our grandparents did not decide to tell us, hey, come in the house before the damn lights come on, just out of thin air.
Yeah.
right? There was a purpose for that. There was a reason for that.
Yeah.
Right. And so we can't just disregard those reasons, that historical information, because now we're somehow progressed as a community and as a country. Yeah, we have progressed. We've gotten better in some areas, but let's be very clear. Race relations is not one of those areas that we've gotten better in.
Actually, recently gotten worse.
I mean, I hear you. I'm just trying to see. I'm trying to understand because I don't get it. Like I'm saying, my dad hates white people because of what he has gone through. Or maybe a better word is easily triggered by white people. Maybe that's the better way of saying it.
Or it's conditioned, rightfully so, to be conditioned
I
to
don't think
be.
it's a hate because he works with white people, so I don't think it's like a
right.
hate.
So I don't think it's I don't think it's about
A
hating white people.
Hate is like you don't want the person, you can't be around them, you don't want, like,
you can hate someone and be around them.
I can't.
They're you, but you think a lot of these people that work with they hate.
Nobody at work takes that enough space in my head for me to hate them personally. That's just me.
I'm just saying, I'm not you, but you're talking about self. I'm talking about just overall.
Oh, if they hate me.
Somebody hates
Shit,
you.
if you let me take up that much space in your head rent free, that is your motherfucking business. And I could care fucking less. But trust me when I tell you, no one in this, outside of if you like do something to me, like I don't hate, no. For what? For me to hate you means I have to think about this shit every fucking time that I see you. I have to replay this. You simply just don't exist to me. If I hate you, you don't exist. You just don't exist. I won't speak to you. You no longer exist in my world.
What are you gonna say, Torrian?
I am trying to
formulate towards the mic.
I am trying to formulate the words from what I'm thinking. I think I just struggle. Because you are holding a people accountable, or historically you're taking into account the ways in which race has played out in America, and you know, and that is a way in which you navigate the world, you see the world, you adjust to the world. I don't think that translates into I hate a people, right? Like, yeah, I am extremely mindful of how race gets played in America, because if I don't, that could potentially be the end of my life. That could cause my life if I'm not, right? Like, yeah, I think that there is a way in which someone can be overly, right? Like you're hyper vigilant about that dynamic. I still don't see that as like you're hating someone. I think that I think it's a part of me feels like that is also very dangerous to say, because a part of it is like, again, we're not making this shit up out of thin air. We're not saying that we hate a people or we strongly dislike a people because of, just because of the color of their skin, right? History has helped us informed how to be mindful around navigating white people.
But do you think there's white people that exist that hate black people?
Absolutely.
For being black? Yeah, absolutely.
So why can't a black person hate a white person for being white?
They can, I think. I get what Torrian is saying, but I think a black person can be racist. A black person can be, because I do feel like when we make the statement of a people, we include everyone. And we said at the top of the conversation that there are some white people that are not racist. There are some white people that
I didn't say that.
Oh well, okay, okay. You didn't say that. I'm saying it. There are white people that are not racist. There are white like I don't think that every white person is racist. I think that when you go back in their family, yes, you may find some shit. If you go back in my family, I'm sure you may find some shit. But I do believe in people learning and growing and evolving. So I think I couldn't believe in that and think that every white person was racist. No, I can't. I can't. I can't. I
I statement.
but there
Finish it
are
off,
some.
Torian.
Shit, there are
Tori want to say
some.
something. Go
No, I
ahead,
don't.
sweetie.
Take it
Because
home. Take us home.
no, I don't. No,
Yeah,
I've expressed myself around this topic multiple times
Yes.
on this
Yes.
podcast.
Yes.
I think when you call it racism, right, requires power and privilege to use or change laws or to somehow use that against a people. And so for me, if we all go to a bank and I go in, I rob that bank, right? I'm the one in there with the gun. You know, you, Jay, are the person who planned it out, right? You, Chef, you were the getaway driver. Well, let's change that. Let me go with Jay. You're the getaway driver.
Hold on.
Chef,
Hold on.
Chef just got
I can be the.
Chef just got a car, so we trying to get away. So Chef
Hold
can't drive.
on. Hold on. Hey,
I
I
need an
take 78 every day.
I need an experienced driver.
I'm still new fish. I know.
But if we all, if we are all robbing the bank,
We're all complicit in the crime.
we're all complicit, right? If we take the money that we win, that we get, right, and we give it to family, right, and they benefit from the robbery, right, they also can be charged. That's receiving stolen goods.
What if they didn't know that?
Don't matter. Ignorance is not an excuse of the law.
Damn, I thought ignorance was bliss.
There's
No.
an argument there.
Listen, go with it, right? But my point is that if you are a person who benefits from a system of racism, then inherently you are racist because you're benefiting from a racist system, a system designed, rooted in racism.
So how does how would they? So it's nothing they can do.
Absolutely. This is why we create accomplices where white folks take on the task of dismantling those racist systems, right? By one, acknowledging that they exist, and by two, acknowledging that it's a problem that they exist, and three, finding ways in their sector to dismantle those systems and find a way to interject justice and equity into that.
So are those said white people still racist?
Yeah, inherently, but right, they're doing the work, right? They understand their privilege and they're doing the work to dismantle those things, right? So for me, I think that, and I
so let's say
understand
your
that
parents did the work. Your parents were doing the work, and then they have you. Are you now inherently doing the not doing the like? Are you now not doing the work? Like, is that inherited as well?
Are you benefiting?
Is it something that you can benefit from your parents doing the work?
No, you can't. Are you benefiting from the system that is still racist?
Yeah, I'm confused.
When you're doing the work, once the system is changed and it is no longer rooted in racism, right? Then that's a different conversation.
But I don't think that's fair because I think racism is always going to play a part in any system.
I agree.
And so I don't think that's fair. I don't know if that's a great way to put it. Like, I mean, that's your feeling. That's your feelings. That's what you feel. So I'm not trying to change your feelings, child. We've been on this topic for years, and your stance has never changed. But to Chef's point, just like how we don't have any control who we're born to and what our upbringing is, I feel like I try, I'm not sitting here and saying that I've been racially profiled so many times from
Amen.
a kid. Okay,
Amen.
a kid. And so I know how it is, but I do, especially because of me being black and gay. I try to judge individuals based off of their own
individually.
Yeah.
Same.
Because I don't group now. What I would be lying if I said every time I see a white person, I wonder, are they racist?
Absolutely.
I'm pretty sure when white people see us, they probably wonder, are they a drug dealer? I don't know. But
oh gosh.
But
probably
I got dreads
so.
and shit,
Probably so. Well, I think that, and I'm gonna take it away from white people too. Once I tell somebody I'm Jamaican, oh, you smoke weed?
Right.
Oh, you smoke?
There are biases.
So it's certain shit that just comes along with the territory.
Yeah.
Just comes along with the shit.
I just think to put that label on someone, I have a problem with labels in general, not just regarding race, but I have a problem that we label things and like you're telling me what I am without even knowing me. Yeah, I was born to someone who was racist or whatever, but I've done the work to make sure that one, that doesn't, trickle down to my family. Those are not my beliefs. You have people that I know someone who was adopted by a black person who was adopted by a white Trump supporter, was raised with his white foster parents using the N-word like water.
This is a white person.
No, this is a black guy.
Okay. Oh,
And is he in therapy?
Okay.
I hope he's in therapy, and I hope he's have healed, and I hope that he's away from that.
I'm gonna bleep this out. He's actually my.
Oh.
Yeah. And so, sorry.
So finish your point.
Sorry. Oh, because you got a point, bitch.
I'm listening. I'm listening intently. No.
So okay. So and the reason why I'm saying this is because based off of what you just said, you're saying that this black man is benefiting from a system or whatever. He's a racist because his foster parents are racist, or he was,
In Torrian's world, his foster parents are not his parents. His parents are his birth parents. No,
don't speak for me.
No,
one, respectfully. Two,
it was a question. It wasn't speaking for you. It was a question. That's why I said no. I said no. I stated it and I answered it like it was in question form. It was
parents. Parents are parents, whatever form they come in. However you are raised, that's your parental dynamic. That is what it is. My rebuttal is I don't think black people can be racist. So even by your example, he is still a black person.
Yeah, but you're labeling them as, you said, if a child was born into or whatever, if you, Chef's question to you was, if I was born or my family is this.
No, not when you say me, not you, the black person. I'm talking about white people.
But I'm talking about white people too. That was Chef's question.
Right.
If a white person, right? So are we saying that that's different because he was black? But
that's exactly what I'm saying. I'm saying a black person cannot be racist. It's exactly what I'm saying. Because again, racism requires, and I want to be clear. What I am saying, racism within a structural systemic way, right? I'm not talking about individuals in that way. When I say white people are racist, I am saying as a collective, macro, excuse me, because I know I just hit the thing. And as a collective, white people are racist because white people benefit from the American system that is rooted in racism. Right? Racism in and of itself, structural racism requires power. Just because individuals do the work individually within their families to be anti-racist, right? To not be a part of the problem that perpetually advances it, right? Like they're not advocating for racist laws, they're not voting in racist people, right? Their ideologies are not racist. So they themselves individually are not practicing racist actions or doing racist things. Because they still benefit from a system that is rooted within racism, that's why I say inherently white people as a collective are racism because they benefit, or racist, excuse me, because they benefit from the racism, they benefit from this system that is inherently rooted in racism.
But being as though I just told you who this person is to me, he inherently was able to go to an amazing school.
Absolutely.
He inherently was able to have at 36 years old, 37 years old, almost a millionaire.
You know what we call that?
What?
Reparations.
Girl, okay. So now we just okay.
Is that not what reparations are? Is that not what reparations are? Reparations are attempting to utilize find some way to provide level playing field from the advancement that white people has been given, right? And giving it to black people. So if you're telling me that a black child was raised by a white family and was given access to these points of privilege, I would call that reparations individually.
I'm glad you would call that.
Absolutely. Okay. I wouldn't call that racism. The black man can't be racist.
I would call it good karma for actually having to grow up in that crazy, household. That has to be interesting.
If we're being technical, reparations refers to measures to redress violations of human rights by providing a range of material and symbolic remedies to victims of their families as well as affected communities.
I don't understand how what you just said, what the definition you just said, how that is opposite of what my point is around him receiving reparations.
I guess you could make anything fit, bitch, I guess.
What you just said when you are utilizing...
But I still think you're wiggling out of the question that I asked. But
I'm not wiggling out of anything. I was very direct about my answer to your question. Now, you may not like that answer. You may disagree with that answer, but my answer is still my answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's let our listeners weigh in on this.
Yes. And I've never 10 toes down.
Yeah. But back to Nolan. Okay. Let's pray for the family.
Yes. Absolutely.
And again, in the beginning of the podcast, when I said black families, just it's all about just awareness, right? And even and the optics, right? like literally, weigh in on this. We'll say our prayers for Nolan Wells' family, and we'll follow this story. We'll come back. I'm pretty sure there are going to be lots of developments even after we record this. And so, yeah, thanks for tuning in to Catch My Black and Gay podcast. Follow us on all social media platforms at Catch My Black and Gay.
Catch my black and gay, bitch. Catch my black and gay, bitch.
You want to join the conversation? Call us 818-855-7180. Leave us a message. Tell us about the episode that you just heard. Suggest topics to us that we can discuss. Or just say, hey, we want to hear from you. 818-855-7180. 855-7180.